How's it going, guys? So today's death battle, Hulk versus Doomsday. As I always say, if you don't know who Hulk is, then you just don't watch comics. He's the big jelly green man, and I'm not talking about the one that's on the vegetable cans. Bruce Banner was affected by radiation that mutated his cells and basically turned him into a giant, well, Hulk in this case. When he gets really angry, he turns into a really big green guy. I think what Hulk's like, 12, 15 feet tall? Somewhere in there at least. You know? And the more angry he gets, the stronger he gets. You know, and very few Marvel heroes or villains can actually put down Hulk either by a single punch or just straight up raw power. You know, and there's been different versions of Hulk. And I'm assuming if they're going with Hulk, they're going just with the regular version of him. Because there are some Hulks that are just so damn powerful they break the universe. Like World Breaker Hulk. You know. And Hulk is one of those heroes that ages very slowly. You know, and I think somewhere in like the comics or the anime, Hulk actually does separate from Bruce Banner, becomes his own separate entity, and then eventually becomes Maestro Hulk. And that's like a whole different story that involves Wolverine and all that stuff like that. Doomsday. He's basically like the version of Hulk, except he's a lot more powerful and a lot more deadly. This is one of the few one of the few villains and villain monsters that actually killed Superman. And I think it was like I don't remember which anime, but I know it was like something like the Death of Superman, where Superman fights Doomsday for the first time, and Doomsday is just, they're going at it, and then eventually Doomsday gets the upper hand and just wallops Superman. And the thing with Doomsday, unlike Hulk, he doesn't get stronger the more he gets mad. Doomsday has the ability of adaptability. So the only thing that kills Doomsday, he actually resurrects from and is actually immune to that thing. So if you were, say, killing Doomsday with a flamethrower and he dies by fire, he'll come back to life and he's immune to fire. And with something like Superman, where he's got all sorts of abilities, you're taking on something like Doomsday, who has the ability of adaptability. It's going to be very difficult to put him down. And I think they did it in like two different ways. And God, my shoulder's killing me. There was where Superman kills Doomsday with a kryptonite spear, and then there was one where Superman actually throws Doomsday into an area of time that doesn't exist or is stopped. And I think he eventually gets out of it. I don't remember how. But he's, like I said, he's one of the very few villains I know that actually straight up kills just OG Superman. And Superman eventually does come back and actually beats Doomsday. And I think it's like in one of the anime versions, it might be the one I'm talking about, he actually comes back to life and actually lobotomizes Doomsday. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically where they take a part of your brain, usually your intelligence or your mobility, and removes it. Well, Superman ended up doing that with his heat vision and lobotomizes Doomsday until he's just a walking zombie. And everyone was completely shocked that Superman would even go that far. And Superman's kind of like Batman there. He, killing people is like the last result that he'll ever do. But he has done it. So like in the Man of Steel, where he killed his own uncle. So I gotta put money on this. I'm gonna go with Doomsday just strictly because of his adaptability. I know they both have healing factors. They're both extremely strong, but unless Hulk can pull something, he is not gonna win. So let's check this out. No, you're not putting that all over. I hate when YouTube does that. It's like, I have 1080 for a reason. Stick it in 1080, you little shit. Oh, that's definitely a 2003 version of Hulk.
Ugly great Hulk.
And I apologize if this is going to be like a laggy video just because of the animation. immediately get muted because of music. As usual, any music and like that, you just end up muting it and then putting my own non-copyright music, and then we'll put captions on it. I don't know if that's gonna make a difference or not, since they're just gonna be both grunting anyways. When it comes to something like the Avengers, I doubt the Avengers have the power to actually put Doomsday down. I think really maybe the only one that could possibly put Doomsday down, actually two ones I could possibly think of, is Scarlet Witch. And if she sends him to like another dimension or something like that, possibly, but she's gonna have to be like really sneaky about it. And if he was an actual good guy, I'd probably say Ultron. You know, if Ultron actually joined the Avengers, he might actually have the capability to put Doomsday down. But I don't know, because it took 3 Avengers to put Ultron down and for Scarlet Witch to finally rip out his heart. But even with Ultron's vibrating armor and stuff like that, with Doomsday's adaptability, it'd be very interesting. Oh, and Doomsday, at least in the movies, Doomsday was a Kryptonian. I'm not sure about the comics, if they have actually changed that to where he's like a separate breed or something. And there was one of the few videos I watched by another comic book nerd, and I found out that Doomsday actually fought. Ooh, wow, he just spiked him. We'll get to this in a minute. Is the fire claw? That's interesting. Yeah, that's not gonna be good for Hulk. Hulk has a good, decent. Oh, love how I get hit by 2 goddamn ads. Hulk has decent regeneration abilities, but I think Doomsday is definitely gonna pull this out. Hulk can only heal for so much. Yeah, I think this is game over for Hulk. Yep. I knew he would probably lose. Doomsday is just too formidable, and with Hulk's only bringing brute strength, he's just not gonna beat Doomsday. But let's find out why.
KO! Oh, that was beautiful! With the Hulk's immeasurable power and Doomsday's impossible immortality, this truly felt like a fight between an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
Hulk may have had the advantage in raw strength, at least at his full potential, but Doomsday could certainly hold his ground. His victories against the likes of Superman and Darkseid prove he can take a hit from someone strong enough to break planets.
And by experience, Doomsday had the speed advantage. He regularly fights foes with light speed capabilities, while that kind of speed is an extreme rarity in the Marvel Universe. In fact, the only foe that fast who Hulk's ever seemed to keep pace with in a one-on-one match was Sentry, and that was when he was at his most powerful stage, Worldbreaker Hulk.
So overall, Hulk had strength and Doomsday had speed, but neither completely outclassed the other. At first glance, this one looked like it could go either way.
Which means the devil's in the very tiny details.
So why couldn't the Hulk's infinite strength just keep rising and eventually overwhelm Doomsday?
Well, even assuming Hulk's strength was infinite, his healing factor was not. Don't get me wrong, it can only be overtaxed by hits from absurdly powerful beings such as Zeus or Sentry, whom Doomsday certainly compares.
Naturally, Doomsday's crazy strength and speed started wearing that healing factor down.
Here's where it gets a bit tricky. The Hulk may look like a giant green monster, but he's still technically human, and his power directly correlates with his anger. A human being's anger stems from an increase in hormones and adrenaline in the body. However, the brain can only produce these chemicals at such a rate for a limited time, eventually giving up and turning apathetic. Therefore, Hulk's limitless power could never have existed without his healing factor. It's the key. It allowed his body to continue producing hormones and adrenaline far beyond the norm, theoretically an endless supply. thus increasing his superhuman power to an immeasurable degree. So, Doomsday overtaxing his healing factor meant the Hulk could no longer maintain his increasing rage and Hulk form.
If you're still skeptical, that's why there's a bunch of times in comics when a huge impact forced the Hulk to turn back into Bruce Banner, including that battle between Worldbreaker Hulk and Sentry. With his healing power beaten down, he literally couldn't keep himself angry enough to stay in Hulk mode.
I love science, but there's still one more thing. Thanks to his battles with Superman and other Kryptonians, Doomsday has evolved to a point where it's basically impossible to kill him with brute force alone.
So Hulk couldn't have killed him by just getting angry enough to punch harder than Doomsday ever felt.
Precisely. Here's the proof. Superman and Doomsday eventually had a rematch, in which Superman was much more powerful than their first battle. As we discussed before, Superman's power is also potentially limitless by way of continually absorbing solar energy, and at this point in his story, he'd begun to discover that.
But try as he might, despite his increased power, Supes couldn't kill Doomsday with blunt force a second time.
Ultimately, Doomsday's immunity to being ripped, impaled, incinerated, blasted with energy, and being beaten by blunt force from both focused and multiple sources means Hulk just didn't have the options available to take Doomsday out before his healing factor was overtaxed.
On this day, Hulk met his doom. Doomsday.
The winner is Doomsday.
Yeah, Doomsday is like almost damn near impossible to kill. It would take a very high alien supernatural either enemies or heroes to actually put Doomsday down. You know, we're talking like maybe Spectre level entities to be able to put him down. You know, because just as they said, pure brute strength is just not putting Doomsday down because of his adaptability. And when the man can go toe-to-toe with Superman and beat him, and he could practically beat almost all of Marvel and possibly all of DC, you know, he's going to be very, very difficult to put down. But I kind of seen this one coming because Doomsday is well known in the comics, and as he mentioned that Doomsday went against Darkseid, and that's just an avatar of Darkseid. That's not even like true form Darkseid. But even as an avatar of Darkseid who can wallop on Superman and go toe-to-toe with Trigon and stuff like that, you know, Darkseid got his ass kicked by Doomsday. And even with his Omega beams that are supposed to one-shot you and erase you from existence, Doomsday just shrugged it off and just started wailing on Darkseid like he was nothing. So when Doomsday can take literally a one-hit KO move, just shrug it off and then just start wailing on you, that's an enemy you literally need to find a way to put down. But either way, like I said, I apologize. The video might be a little laggy. I'll have to definitely check the recording and stuff like that. So hopefully it's not too bad. As usual, I'm going to put my own copyright music in there too, just so I don't get this video blocked. And thanks for staying safe, healthy, and sanitized. Put your job like, thank you for subscribing, and leave a comment below. You know, how did you get introduced to Hulk or Doomsday? And I'll be sure to check those comments out. See you guys.